Hello and welcome to another edition of What's Next with Joey McGuire. I'm Robert Giovanetti, and Coach 2-0 star. We want to talk a lot about that. It's exciting. But before we get started, some sad news from the game this weekend. Rod Blackburn, a tremendous Texas Tech fan, passed away. You had some comments in your press conference, and I thought very good thoughts from you on that, and a very sad situation.
Yeah, that's, reading and hearing about him, and then Debbie reached out to his wife, and just said on Facebook, said, we're thinking about you. And just incredible comments from her about, this was his place that he absolutely loved. What was really cool was she ended it. Now let's go win the Big 12.
Yeah.
And so, that's just, man, it's so incredible that you've got a person that's so passionate about his Red Raiders. And, I've always said, if I'm going to go, I want to do it on a football field. I hope it's again a long time.
Yeah.
But, he's kind of, it was probably really tragic, and I can't imagine his granddaughter and how his family felt, but I know he loved the Red Raiders and he loved this place.
Debbie sent a picture of him, and I didn't know him. I have seen him. Right?
Yeah.
I recognize him as being around, and so clearly a huge Red Raider fan. And she put in her message, he loved Jesus, he loved his family, he loved the Red Raiders.
Yeah.
So you said, if it's there worst places that you could go, and I'm trying to cast light on something that's very sad. But again, our thoughts go out to the Blackburn family, and appreciate all that they've done for us for the years, and hopefully we see them back out at Jones Stadium sometime this fall. 2-0.
Yeah.
Got to feel pretty good right now, healthy, right? They've got through those 2 weeks pretty unscathed, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel good from the standpoint of, like, if you were saying, what did you expect to happen the first two games?
Yeah.
It really went exactly the way that we expected it to go, which is always good, because it hasn't.
Yes.
We've been in our first 3 years at different times of, especially last year in that Abilene Christian game, and, they did a great job against us, but it wasn't the way we expected it to go. And so building off of that, some kind of adversity when we had the rain delay. I thought our guys really responded well to that. And now we've got a really good opponent. It hasn't gone the way that they thought it was going to go. They're a lot better than their record. They should have won last week. They had some just crazy snaps on special teams, or they win that game.
Yeah, watch some plays from that game. And one of them I've never even seen happen before, where the punter just kicks it while it's on the.
Oh, yeah.
That's a weird deal. And their coach wasn't very happy. Do you know him?
I don't. I'm anxious to meet him, and I hear some great things. Clay McGuire knows a lot of their staff, being in that conference before at Washington State. And, man, I hear great things about the guy and their staff. So I'm anxious to meet him. They're going to come in hot. Like, they're going to come in. I can just imagine if I'm coming off that game, there's probably disappointment, embarrassment, and we get to go in a place and ruin, a hot streak. And so there's going to be a lot of momentum for them. Quarterback's really big, athletic. It won 9 games last year for Duke. So it's going to be a great football game.
And he played at UT also, so he's familiar a little bit with. I don't know if I can't remember if he came here with them or not, but he's aware at least of.
Yeah, I mean, he beat K-State. Their last year in the Big 12, he had to start the K-State game, and I mean, highly recruited out of high school. He's 6'5", 240 pounds, big arm, and then you also turn around and you're talking about a team that's going to be bigger, more physical than the two teams, not against the two teams we played before, but it's just the fact that they're bigger and more physical. And so we're going to have to really play well on Saturday.
You're a smart guy, former kind of still current educator. So is it called transitive property? There's no transitive property. You can't say, hey, because this happened, this is going to happen. That's why we play every Saturday.
No doubt. I mean, like you so many times, I mean, that's right now, if you're listening to any radio guy, any Pat on ESPN, whether you're talking and you're debating about who should be ranked and all this, and that is really kind of always the question of why this team's ranked, why this team isn't ranked, why this team should be ranked. I mean, why this team hasn't moved down, why this team hadn't moved up. one thing doesn't equal another. Whenever it comes down to, you got to go play the game, and crazy things happen in a game, and you got to respond to them.
I think the great thing about what we're seeing now is we're going to get a chance, right? That you put yourself in the opportunity, win the Big 12, you're in the talk, and you can improve it. I mean, you can see the bias in the rankings, the preseason rankings. There's no doubt about it, right? For certain conferences.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was reading today of people outside of some of the maybe so-called blue blood programs saying like Notre Dame's number 8 and hadn't won a game yet. Now they've only played one game,
yep.
But they haven't really moved. Alabama moved up after moving down, getting beat by an unranked team, and then they dominated Louisiana Monroe, and then they moved up. So you're like sitting there going, all right, if you took South Florida's resume and put a different logo on it, they beat 2 ranked teams, one at home, one on the road, and they're number 18. How are they not in the top 10? So, like, that stuff has been going on a long time. You're hoping whenever it gets to the first release of the college football playoff rankings that you have people that are really going to discuss that versus some of the things that are being discussed by different networks, and they're pushing a certain narrative. There's no doubt. Like, you can't sit there and justify and say that they're not. Like, it's not debatable. They can debate it, but they're also debating it for their cause. They're pushing that narrative.
Yeah, and there's probably, let's face it too, on the voting, there's guys who voting for or not voting for Tech have never seen us play it down.
Yeah, no doubt.
So you're saying, okay, I'm going to look at these teams they beat, should have beat them. Anyway, it's an interesting part. It's an interesting part. And, some people on our YouTube that when we posted this have taken a couple shots about the scheduling. Schedule is what it is, right?
Yeah.
That your guys can only beat the team that's across from them. They're not at their schedule in those games.
No, yeah, and it's nothing minus one game. I mean, this schedule was already made before, I got here.
Right.
And I think one thing we got to remember is if things are going to change, and it is going to change, the SEC is going to play 9 games and everything, maybe some schedules rework. The Power 4, we need to make it blanket like they're all the same. Don't have one group as the SEC is this year and in the past playing 8 conference games. It's not that it just happens that they play their 4th non-Power 4 team late in the season.
Yeah, you see those games in November, you're like, what?
Yeah.
The opponents they're playing, and so they've had that luxury of being able to do that. Yeah. What is your kind of perfect non-conference schedule?
It's always been a little bit. We tried to do this whenever I was at Cedar Hill, and then you get to a point where you can't do it because people won't play you. But if you look at it, if you have 3 non-conference games, one that you're going to win, one that's a coin toss, and one that you shouldn't win.
Right.
And that's what you're going into conference with, because that gives you an idea of like, hey, you're matching up against a team you're supposed to beat. Are you going to do that? You're matching up a team that's pretty equal, and then are you going to respond to a team that's better than you?
And again, that's the beauty of where we are in the playoffs, that you can do that now.
Yeah.
And still have your chance at the end. You might not get ranked or whatever for a certain point, but you're going to get to that situation. This Oregon State game too,
Now, hold on, I want to go back to, don't think that in the history of certain schools that former coaches didn't win a lot of games against the schedule that we're playing right
for sure.
now.
Oh, no, yeah.
So you can't go one way or the other. You can't say, I would sit there and I was the same way of like, why is Baylor playing this schedule? Why is Texas Tech playing this schedule? Why is A&M playing this schedule? And then all of a sudden we're playing that schedule and, hey, we need to play a tougher schedule.
Yeah.
It's one of those like, hey, don't forget, there's been a lot of games won at different places playing a schedule just like this.
I realized too, we were playing Kent State. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kent State. It was rainy a little bit in the morning. It was kind of coolish. But we need our fans. They've done great.
Phenomenal.
Sold out our first 2 games. By the time people are watching this, we'll probably sold out Oregon State. but we need you to come too.
Yes.
Redeem the tickets. If you can't come, give them to somebody else. And I think just for the atmosphere and being part and watching these guys play, because I love it even in the fourth quarter, watching some of these guys we've talked about and seeing them play. And you can tell you're watching the Red Raiders.
Yeah. And, I think we're going to have a great crowd this Saturday. And it's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a really good game. But what's really cool, and I understand it was 11 o'clock kick, and I thought the students did a great job of showing up and everything. But like that first game, the first half, there's not been many atmospheres that I've been here that it hadn't been like that. Like that, the double T was packed.
Yes.
Like, that behind the north end zone,
For sure.
I mean, it was packed. And so people were really excited. But, I'm telling you, if you haven't got your ticket, get it. Like you said, we're probably sold out by the time this airs. But Saturday will be a great game to come and watch. It's going to be two teams really go after each other, and I think it's a great measuring stick to where we're at, getting us ready for conference play.
Yeah, the students don't know how good they have it in that north end zone because, back when I was a kid, my parents used to dump me off there, right? That's like, it used to be different. It used to be kind of like a big playground area for kids. Parents go watch the game, they come find you at the end of the game. Times have certainly changed, but I like the way it is now too.
No, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
So I've been really impressed with Barron and the way he's able to take care of business. I love the fact he came back from a minor tweak last week. Are you feeling good about where he is right now?
I do. I feel like he's really sharp. But there's things that you can coach the heck out of him and say, hey, we got to get better here and here. And he's responding. But I think he is, that was the whole reason. If he could play plain, because I didn't want to get off rhythm, but I also we want to keep improving. He has to keep improving. He's got to be able to be better with his feet. He's got to step up in the pocket, versus trying to escape to his left and his right, because he does have a better offensive line that he's playing in front of. And so he's got to keep trusting that. If you're not playing the game, you don't get those live reps. You can't replicate that in practice. I mean, there's some things that practice is practice, and it's great, and it's everything to our program, but you can't replicate that. You've got to be able to do it in live situations where you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
In practice, he knows he's not going to get hit.
Right.
So he'll do certain things. That's all quarterbacks. In the game, whenever you're going to get hit, it's different. So you've got to get better at that.
I love the relationship, too, with him and Will, and just on the sidelines.
Yeah.
They're talking to each other. They're rooting for each other. I think that shows a healthy relationship there.
Yeah, Mac, and even before Mac, Kitley did a great job of getting that room to where it should be, and they're really close. We brought Mitch in. That brought the room even closer, being a vet. And then Mac does such a great job. I mean, being him and Lindsey Scott, both being former quarterbacks, there's a lot of things that they can tell those guys through the game that I think really makes a difference in reason they're all playing at a high level. We've got 3 guys that throw touchdown passes.
I think a thing that gets lost, and we've seen it a couple, Oregon State got killed by special teams.
Yeah.
Kent State didn't help themselves with special teams. They made a couple of pretty big mistakes. And we have shown the ability here to be very explosive on special teams. I know it's kind of frustrated you on some of the penalties and everything, but you can see the potential how they might turn a game.
Yeah, they're going to turn a game. We're going to win games off of special teams. Coach Perry's doing a great job. There was a couple different deals that we were ranked like number 11 in the country, and minus a couple of holding calls, we're probably number 1 in the country in special teams. We're number 1 in the country in block punts. We want to lead the country in all block kicks, and so that's been a big part of it. We're extremely aggressive by nature. That's mine and Coach Perry's nature, and we've got weapons. I mean, Tristan Gentry is showing that he's a weapon. Micah Hudson had a great return. Really could have been even bigger. That's just getting back into the flow of returning kicks. Yep. He hadn't done it in a year, and so I'm excited about that group.
Our man Skyler got the interception. He got out the deflection. He showed a little burst of speed there, scoring. And you mentioned after the game that you were impressed the most with John Curry making that block right there at the end.
Yeah, the effort, of is that guy going to catch? After watching it on film, I think Skyler kind of turned it on, so I don't know if the guy was going to catch it.
Yeah, it didn't look like, but Curry still made sure.
He made such a great block, and man, he's playing at a really high level.
Yeah, I know it.
And I think he could play better. The couple times he's tried to make a play, and I understand it, but the ball's not at the level he's at, so he's come inside too early. We got to keep, owning every part of the defense, has an edge to the defense. And on some of those plays, he's the edge. The ball's got to go inside of him. So keep getting better at that. But, man, he is passionate. He is a tough kid, and he's playing really hard.
You know, I was talking to a pretty good former offensive lineman, Cody Campbell, before the game, and he was talking about some of the problems we present defensively. He was like, man, he goes, some of the things they're doing, I'm glad I didn't have to block against guys like that. They're going to present a problem for some teams.
They are, because two things. One, we're really skilled, big, physical, but we're deep. You know, you're having a block, especially, you know, we should get Charles Esters back against Utah. So that adds a guy that's a real vet, you know, a redshirt senior. But when you're running Skylar Gill-Howard, Lee, Hunter, A.J. Holmes, and Jaden Cofield in, I mean, you got 4 really, really good defensive tackles that can play at a really high level that affect the game.
I think with your team, this is not going to happen, but with the 2 blowout wins, what's happened with Oregon State, any chance these guys, you don't have these guys completely focused going into Saturday?
They're going to get it all today. They'll get all of me. They'll have, my hair is going to be on fire. They're you know, one of set a tone right off the bat. But I texted Barron and Jacob and Bryce, and I said, in the last 3 years, these are the games that we haven't played well or we've lost because we weren't ready to play. Don't let that happen. I'm not going to let it happen. I mean, I think, and I'm going to tell them, just watch film. If you can't see, because we always talk about eliminating bad football. And if Oregon eliminates bad football, they're going to come in here and they're going to hit us right in the mouth. And if we're not ready to respond, then we're going to be in a game that we don't want to be in. And so it's going to be one of those deals that, hey, we need to be ready and focused. But again, it's about us. Are we going to play at our standard? That is the whole key. If we played our standard, we're going to have an opportunity to beat anybody in the country.
Yeah, I love your message. I've heard it a couple of times. You said it last year after the struggle against ACU. Hey, look, the goal is to win the game.
Period.
Right? Let's win the game. Do what you can to win the game. We'll figure everything out after this. And that seems to be your consistent message to these guys, even leading into weeks like this.
Yeah, I mean, because you can have the greatest game plan in the world. And, you know, and you saw it on Sunday Night Football. You saw it on Monday night last night. I mean, whatever game you're in, that's the game that's in front of you right now. And maybe you didn't think you're going to be in that game. Maybe that's not the game you wanted, but that's the game you got. You better find out a way to win it. And that's the whole key. And that's the thing that we're trying to keep preaching. And I think the one thing that's helping us, this is the most veteran crew we've had since year one. Like, it wasn't luck that we beat Texas. It wasn't luck that we beat OU. It wasn't luck that we beat Ole Miss. We had an older team that understood that message. It was awesome they understood it so quick in year one. And then, you know, this team is a more talented group, but they're the same as far as they're an old team.
Love how our fans have been listening on our tortillas.
Yes.
So we've done a good job there. Again, toss those opening kickoff, and then let's don't do it anymore. Hey, and I saw Tony Bradford roaming the sidelines Saturday. We don't want him going after, you know, we don't send Tony in the stands, right?
No, we don't. We don't. They don't want that either.
No, they don't want any part of Tony.
He's in a lot better shape. He's leaned up, so I think he's going to be faster to get you. Oh, my
gosh. When I saw him the other day, I said, Mike, you look great, right?
Yeah,
so he
looks good.
Yeah, it's good to see those guys come back, and you do a good job, too, of
those are my guys.
Keeping that
No doubt.
So, all right, we got Oregon State this weekend. Hopefully everyone shows up, uses their ticket for Joey McGuire and Robert Giovanetti. That's been What's Next. Wreck 'em.